Okay, guys, welcome to the first Sales Architect podcast. Today I have Theo Gibbons, who is the marketing manager, and I would say personally all round tool and software guru over at Context. So, welcome, Theo. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Tom. What a great
Good.
intro. I
Thank you.
don't know that I'd call myself the guru, but I'll settle for all-round product sort of geek and nerd.
Okay, well, that's halfway there. There's the only
Yeah,
difference between a geek and a guru is time spent. So,
yeah.
so can you tell us a little bit around, first of all, what you ended up going with, and
Mhm.
then since I left, it was around about the time that I left that was implemented. It's been a couple of years since then. So what's happened since then, and how has that system developed? How is it used today, and what are the benefits of having a good CRM system in place?
The reason why we went for HubSpot in the end was just the thing that sort of swayed me and convinced me that I wanted to convince other people internally
Yeah.
was number one, that they made it very easy to get access to it so we could get used to it, but also just how beautifully simple the user interface was. And that was like the main pain point at Context was just like we had very patchy uptake and no coordination between marketing, sales, uh, and customer assurance. Um, So that was the main thing I was looking for, and something that could meet the needs of those quite different groups of people who nonetheless had uh, a role to play in interacting with our partners and clients.
Have you got any kind of tips for how to get that engagement from the various different teams that need to be not just using the system, but also inputting on how to implement it in the right way for them so that they can use it to its fullest potential? You mentioned kind of getting those champions and those team leaders in place. Was there anything else that proved particularly successful over the last couple of years in bringing all of those teams into the fold?
In terms of tips, the key is to first work out what kind of a person you're talking to. Some people are some early adopters, really keen on new tools, or already have some insight into what's possible using modern systems. So we have some people who'd come from companies where CRM was already firmly established as the way of running a modern sales team, for example. So that makes it very, very easy to get them on board. Anyone who's still used to using their private little Excel spreadsheet, or has got their own system, that takes some explaining, takes some convincing.
So, what kind of modern tools, you mentioned ClickUp a second ago, what other kind of modern tools are you using nowadays? And are they integrated back into the
Yeah,
CRM to some effect as well?
yeah. One of the evaluation criteria I had in mind when looking at different tools is, well, how well does it integrate with everything uh, out there? Because no matter how fully featured HubSpot is aiming to be, it does have a focus, and there are all sorts of other things that we need to achieve that do require specialized tools, like, for instance, project management, webinars, and stuff like that.
Is there anything that you've seen recently that you're keeping an eye on, either for the use within context or just generally you think, wow, that's a great tool, that's going to save a lot of people a lot of time, or it's going to unlock a whole load of potential in some type of business?
Coda, it's kind of like uh, you know a mishmash between. It's like they've taken the best of Google Docs and Google Sheets and added loads of integrations. So again, it's this emphasis on integrating, on being able to pull in data and action, and push back actions externally with all the major tools out there. Um, and I encourage you just to play. Just if you're used to Google spreadsheets and or Excel, I'd encourage anyone to do this of the Coda tutorials just to see. It's just really interesting to see how people have taken this taken what's been around for ages and sort of given a fresh spin on how to use data tables, essentially.
Yeah.
Like very, very creative stuff, making it a lot more interactive, a lot more user friendly. So yeah, I'd encourage them to take a look at that. Yeah, and the other one is ClickUp, which is my current favorite project management tool. They're just hugely ambitious and building a really brilliant product incredibly quickly, adding new features every single week, and with an excellent free entry-level tier to try it out. So yeah, I recommend that to anyone who needs team management, task management, project management. And again, it's this thing of it's not prescriptive in terms of what precise kind of project management you need to do. It just comes with a whole bunch of functionality so that you can, and very easy ways to configure how you visualize your information so you can build basically, it's very likely you'll be able to build anything you need.
Any closing remarks of resource sites that you like to go to for more information on SaaS tools? Where do you go if you say, right, today I want to build a system that does X, Y, Z? Where do you go and find that information? Obviously, it starts with Google, but where do you go from Google?
So my go-to sort of platform review website is G2 Crowd. So I'm aware of all the other ones out there, like Capterra, but for some reason I keep going back to G2 Crowd. I think it's because they've got a nice visualized grid, which makes it very simple for me to see on a chart where they sit, and I tend to like to, and I'll just take a cross section of whoever's highest on customer satisfaction. I'm not too worried about market presence. But obviously, that does play a big part if you're choosing, the central sort of tool in your hub of tools. Then you'd want that to be, significant, like HubSpot. But otherwise, just looking to see higher user satisfaction rates. And then just like what will typically then decide the next stage in the process is whether they've got a free access, because those are ones which are without having to get approval from anyone. I can just go sign up, open it up, and just take a poke around.
And that culture of being able to, encouraging let's say a business leader of a small to medium sized business is listening to this now. A really key part of culture is to encourage and enable people in mid-level management or people in key strategic roles that really want to build these systems, really want to improve processes, really want to generate more revenue or get more sign-ups for the next webinar or whatever it is, to enable them to go and do that, right? Not to stop them from signing up for freebies.
But yeah, the other thing I want to say is just the standards of user friendliness and of UX have improved so much over the past few years that I think people now have greater expectations for sort of antiquated or clunky systems. So
yeah, I always say your average employee or your average working person has become used to Amazon Prime, Netflix streaming, pick any other B2C service that's click one button and you've got everything you could ever wish for.
right.
And so people
Yeah.
are really becoming used to that in the business world as well. They want to be able to do everything in one click. They want to be able to communicate with people seamlessly across multiple channels. All that stuff that you expect in your interactions with Amazon.
As they should.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Theo. Really appreciate your time. I'm sure we'll have another one of these sessions in the future where we talk about other tools and processes and systems and geek out about all of those things. But in the meantime, have a great rest of the week and speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Tom. Speak soon.
Cheers, there. Bye.
Bye.